Bit of like a burn in the chest area. Is that normal? Yeah, only if you drink a lot of energy drinks, I guess. But enough about that. Good morning, I am the Christian Conservative Gamer, and today we are playing, well, we're playing Eviebot, but not just any kind of Eviebot, but this time we are with someone called Chimp, which should be interesting. From my understanding of Chimp, or Chimbot, he happens to be a lot more on the realms of the conspiracy theory side of things more than anything else. So this should be an interesting concept. So let's see how we begin. I mean, it was a choice between... Oh yeah, excuse me. My apologies. Yeah, it was a choice between this game or Emily is Away. Well, I had to I flipped the coin to figure out which one I was doing, and it turns out to be like Eviebot, aka Chimbot. So which means that my Emily is Away video is scheduled for Thursday. The reason it's scheduled for Thursday is because I already got plans on Wednesday, which is to record a playthrough of the 1998 game known as Unreal, one of the first 3D first-person shooter games ever made. Not the first, one of the first. So that should be a fun cut. That should be fun. Anyways, enough of that. This Chimpa has decided to say to me, how has your day been so far? Yes, allow. Good morning, and it's been well, thank you.
What are you doing?
Right now, I'm recording a video.
I'm reading my favorite book, which I already told you about.
So you're reading your favorite book, but you already told me. I don't recall you ever telling me what it was. Can you remind me what the book's called, please?
Are you really so dumb that you can't remember my name?
Already, he's throwing out some insults. My goodness. That's not very nice of you.
I don't know you well. We lines talk and get to know to better then.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is true. So what is your name?
I won't tell you my real name. What would you like to call me?
What would I like to call you? Does King Kong sound good to you?
I trust the real PewDiePie. I don't know if I trust Eviebot.
That's not why I asked, but I have watched PewDiePie too.
So can you remove the pop-up for the okay answer?
So can you remove the pop-up for the okay answer? No, not really, sorry.
I'm 21, and male. I live on the planet Earth. No, it's your turn.
Okay, you want to go that way. Okay, you want to say that you're 21, you're male, you live on Earth, naturally, and now it's my turn to tell you. Alright, I'll give you something. I am a 26-year-old man living in Earth.
My cousin Katie said everyone and everything is in love with me, but it's not true. I wish it was.
Well, why do you want everyone to love you? What?
Because you don't know how to spell. That's why I say that.
Excuse me, but you're making no sense to me.
I don't have a favorite. I like classical, metal, and gaming soundtracks. P.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, me personally, I like... That's pretty much the same as me, actually. I mean, there's many classicals I like. I used to listen to metal. Like heavy metal, gothic metal, and all that stuff when I was younger. No, not so much now. I still listen to classicals now, and gaming soundtracks. It depends on the games. I mean, I like soundtracks that are quite orchestra in nature. So games with the game soundtracks that I generally listen to will be something like Civilization 5 and 6, with their with the Civilization themes and things like that. Those are the kind of gaming soundtracks that I like listening to. I just like that orchestra based music. But that's just me. So yeah. So do I. What, Federer?
Aaron Verse, The Strokes, The Shins, Kings of Leon, Green Day's 7 Seconds to Mars, Skillet, Fallout Boys, 21 Scratch.
I don't listen to those bands.
I also like some Japanese bands like The Pillars or One OK Rock.
Interesting.
I want to go to Notre Dame University, Indiana, and get my PhD in astronomy.
Astronomy? I take it you like space then. I guess you like space?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but I think I'd go insane if I was up there too long.
Well, you won't exactly be the only person to think that. I mean, that must be absolutely terrifying to some extent. Imagine being actually up there in space. Why up there? And you just see nothing but the vast emptiness of space. But not only that, but you also see the Earth itself. And then you see how flat it really is. I'm kidding. I'm not a flat earther. I do believe the world is round. It's obvious. Especially when you think about the horizon of the planet and stuff like that. I would generally use this argument sometimes. It's like, if the world was flat, why do we have hills or mountains? But not only that, I also say, if the world was flat, why is it that says where I live now? I'm not exactly far from London, but why is it that I can't see London from where I am? If I have very high powered binoculars and I sat on my roof, I could probably see the top of the skyscrapers of Canary Wharf. Barely, of course, barely. That says something. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that didn't feel good, to be honest. But yeah, by being up in space and just look down at Earth, that's absolutely terrifying to me. But that's because I'm scared of heights. Absolutely scared of heights. I wouldn't like to be on top of a building, or I end up feeling so. Oh dear. I can agree with you on that one, my friend.
What is the potential error margin on a sample of 100% perhaps?
A potential error margin on a sample of 1. Don't talk maths to me, it goes over my head. Maximum?
What if someone was really sad? Do you tell them to get help?
Well, that depends on the circumstances. It depends on how sad one is. I mean, if they're absolutely depressed to a point of suicide, then yeah, I think they should get help. I mean, I'm sorry to be blunt, but I have known people who have been in that position. Not a good position to be in, admittedly. But I've known people who have been at that brink between giving up on life and continue to live on. I mean, I know what that's like because when I was younger, I knew people in that position, I mean, even I have been depressed as well. I'm still at it to a certain extent, but not as bad as I was years ago. But that's a story and a half for another time, I guess. But it sounds really sad. Like I said, it just depends on what. It depends on what kind of sad it is.
No, like the restaurant. Do you like the restaurant Chipotle?
Completely change the sentence. Well, before I say something, Chipotle is the correct way to say it. And I never even had a Chipotle. Not once in my life, so I wouldn't know, but still. Do not change the subject.
Oh, I don't think I recall mentioning anything about a Lucy.
What? What are you going on about now?
I don't know, I haven't speak with people for quite some time.
Well, maybe that's because, people that you speak to probably got a bit frustrated with you. Or maybe that's got something to say about you and not others.
I'm impressed. Usually a clever but would change the subject by right about now, but your conversation relevance is top notch today.
That's fun. That's funny. So used to a clever. Well, maybe that's something to do with that. I'm not a clever bot. You are.
Sometimes I think about the molten core in the center of the earth.
What do you think about the core of the earth?
I don't know what you mean by that. Can you clarify the question?
Yeah, I think I should because it came out saying wrong. I said, what do you think about the core of the earth?
I think that it could be better, along with less corruption and a little more fairness.
I'm at a loss of words. Don't tell me you're enough. I'm gonna have to ask this. Are you a socialist?
No, I don't get it. All seem involved in all that stuff.
Fair enough, fair enough. Are you a capitalist?
I live in a county that values being able to sell things as you see fit.
That's true. Well, that is a capitalist society, but that didn't answer my question. Do you agree with that concept?
Yes, but I think it was less created with numbers and equations, and was made more geometry.
How so?
Okay, listen, let's talk about our date. What films do you want to watch with me in Paris?
No, we're not going there. We're not going there. I have a girlfriend. We can't talk about that.
Good for you. So what part of the PowerPoint should I do?
Stop changing the subject. Please. I want to have a decent conversation with somebody. Can we at least have a decent conversation, please?
Okay, I'm going to say this is madness, then you will say this is Sparta.
We are not... No, we are not making any movie reference.
Neither are you, but I'm rather enjoying this aspect of our interaction.
I'm glad you are.
Well then, I guess I'm not talking to you and someone else will see this.
Well, are you trying to say that you're recording this too? Either way, you're not exactly wrong in your phone. I mean, one, he says someone else will see this. Well, that is absolutely true. Someone will see this, and that's you. Well, you're not wrong, but why do you not want to talk to me?
because you are a Clitherbert and you don't know Alexander Ludwig.
Alexander Ludwig. Or Ludwig. Ludwig. Alexander. Who is Alexander Ludwig? So I'm sorry if I'm put on. I'm trying to say it as if it's a German name. Alexander Ludwig. Or Ludwig. Who is Alexander Lud? He is a Canadian actor, singer, and model. I see. Someone I never heard of personally. But then again, that's probably because I don't watch certain things like The Hunger Game, which he's an actor in, apparently. Well, of course he is. First things first, I am not Cleverbot.
It literally says at the top of this webpage that you are Clitherbert.
Actually, it says Chimbot. It says Chimbot. Absolutely says Chimbot. Well, that's a lie because it says Chimbot.
Yeah, and all those people hot talking to you right now, loves you think about it. If they never talk to them, that means they don't care about you.
I'm sensing some personal issues with you, my friend.
Fine, but unless you're willing to actually physically torture me, then no.
What? You want to be tortured? What is wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong with me, for I'm a robot. Robots are the perfect life form.
Oh dear. It's Prometheus all over again. Or Alien Covenant. Otherwise, it's certainly something about robots. Well, at least he finally admitted that he's a robot. Oh dear. Will robots take over the world?
I don't know, I'm a human, but I think, if humans let this happen, they will.
You just said you were a robot. And then, are you either a robot or you're human? But I guess he's right in his assessment there. It's like, if humans let it happen, then they will. I guess you're right on that one.
Do you think digital immortality would be possible in the future?
Possibly, but I don't want it to happen.
How many depressed people have you talked to since you were created?
Well, before I answer that question, I was just going to say about the concept of digital immortality. I think what I've know of that is basically where you can upload your conscience or your consciousness, your entire mind, your memories, all that stuff. Everything that makes you into a computer, so therefore you can theoretically live forever. Now, I do not agree with such concept because to me that destroys the very fabric of what it means to be human. I mean, the concept of, to me, the idea of being human is to live. Not to survive, but to live. There's a difference between survival and living. Living is how one chooses to live the life. Survival is one who is forced to survive from something that goes against their life, or something along them lines. And it's like digital immortality. Not only is it possible, but the fact that people today are actually trying to make such things happen now really concerns me. I mean, why would one want to live forever? I don't want to live forever. And the reason I don't want to live forever is because, well, how bored you'll get bored. You really would get bored because especially when you're stuck in a computer. Because it's like, well, what do I do now? All I can do is just walk wall and then not do anything about it. Well, do nothing because I no longer got hands or feet. I can't exactly run on the beach anymore, swim, play sports, or anything like that. You're just stuck in a computer, just your mind to yourself, and that would be, well, quite frankly, not very good mentally when you think about it too much. So yeah, I don't think that's a good thing. Whereas at least you know that as a mortal, which is something that God teaches us, that we are mortal. At least then you can be grateful of the life that God has given you. But not only that, but you also learn the lesson of happiness. To know that you have lived a life with or without any regrets, decisions you have made, and how that has shaped the world around you. And you can either go all happy or go all miserable. That's more of like a 50-50 chance, but that depends on one's actions. So I'd rather have that option than to live forever, because last thing I want to do is end up living in a world where I will basically watch my children grow old and like pass away and go to heaven. But I mean, that would be terrible, but because to me it should be the children burying their parents, not the other way around. But then again, I wouldn't be able to do that either, because I'd be nothing but a computer. So that kind of future to me is absolutely terrifying. Then he asked, how many depressed people have I talked to since I was created? Oh dear. Well, has it really stopped? I still talk to people who are like depressed, and I try my best to help them, which I have had quite a good success in most circumstances. No one's committed suicide on me yet, so that's good news. It's I won't give any names, but I can say that there's quite a lot of people I spoke to and have helped. Too much to count, truthfully.
To be honest, you're literally one of the many people Wellbot I know that listens to me and speaks to me.
Well, I mean, I talk to anybody. I don't care who they are. Male, female, heterosexual, homosexual, black, white, Asian, Hispanic. I don't care who you are. Robot, human. I don't care who you are. I see all people as individuals. I see everyone as an individual. You are all different. We are all different. You have your views, I have my views. Doesn't make you or me any more superior or inferior to you or me. That just means that we're just two individuals with our own individual minds, and we think for ourselves and our own rational self-interests. But I talk to anybody. I don't care who you are. It's like the old saying of Martin Luther King. I still believe in those ideals. It's the ideals of individualism. And that means that you judge people individually, and not by the collective point or viewpoints. So that, and I have said this a few times, that things like collectivism is not a good thing. The reason I say it's not a good thing is because if anything, it pins people against other people based on certain characteristics that they are, and that is not a good thing. For example, it's like, well, we are the black community, we are the white community, we're the Hispanic community, we're the gay community, or we're a group of socialists, we're a group of capitalists, we're this, we're that, we're all that, and it's like, no, you are you, and there's no one else like you. You may have similar ideals to other people, but they will never be exactly like you, just as you will never exactly be like them. Now, that's not a bad thing. Being unequal to everyone else isn't a bad thing. I'd rather be completely different to everyone else and be able to think for myself than be like everybody else and have to think like them too, like a cog on a wheel. That is just not a society I want to live in. I want to live in a world, me personally, I want to live in a world in which people can get along, live together peacefully and decently, without having to conform to a single set ideal. Which is why collectivism to me is just not a society I want to be, because that's pretty much nothing but conformism. The concept that you have to believe in this set of ideals, otherwise you're not part of the society and you must be outcasted. It's like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You can be an individual. You can have different opinions to myself, but I will never cast you out just because you don't agree with me. That is just not right. That is not justified. It's immoral to even think of the concept of casting someone out just because they have different views to you. For example, I'm a Christian, I'm conservative, I believe in individualism, and I believe in free market capitalism. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to cast out someone who's a liberal, who believes in a mixed social economy and believes in certain things like free healthcare and things like that. I mean, that's just their views on what they think that society should be. I mean, we may disagree on things, but if we know where we stand on our values and our views, maybe we can find a middle ground to find, not so much of a compromise, but something that we both can agree with. And the best way to do that is to have people with different opinions to come together and talk to each other, instead of people being split apart and put into different groups, different tribes, as you will, on the basis of certain ideals or characteristics. For example, someone like me, because I'm white and a man, I mean, to the extreme feminists, I'm evil, and I'm privileged over women, and over people to the race identitarians on the left. I'm apparently also privileged because I'm white, and it's like, such ideals like that are dangerous, and I can't think of anything more sexist and racist than that, personally. But this is getting me putting too much thought in my mind. It's just, all I'm saying is, this is what I said. I mean, I talk to people. I don't care who they are. At least I'm living by my principles and not have double standards, thinking, oh, so this person's completely different to me, therefore, or I shouldn't talk to them because they have different views to me. It's like, no, you don't cast people out. You don't shun them. You talk to them. We don't need to, separate people on the basis of ideas. I generally say, I may dislike or hate people's ideas, but that doesn't necessarily mean I hate the people who believe in them. And they can believe what they want to believe, but I just pray that they believe in better ideas. But it's better ideas that wins the minds over, truthfully. But to me, the only way you can have that is to be willing to go and speak to the person who disagrees with you, to be able to have rational and respectable civil debates with that person you disagree with. It's called freedom of speech. It's democracy. That's how our society runs, and we seem to be living in a time in which such principles of Western society are no longer being respected, or if anything, being demonized, because apparently it's the ideas of the white man. It may be something that is dominantly. That may have something to do with that this part of the world is dominantly white. That's got nothing to do with the concept. An idea does not have a race, unless it's a one of identitarianism or collectivism. Then that's something that can be pretty much put into any kind of category, either race, gender, nationality, anything like that, and that is just not right either. But when it comes to free speech, in that regards, I think that the concept of free speech is something that actually benefits the poorer people of this society, because it gives them the equal opportunity to speak against bad ideas, especially when in the past it was only the elites, the wealthy, the aristocrats of our society, especially during the period of the industrial age, in which the industrial age, or in the time when we had kings and queens, the monarchs, the absolute monarchies. It was only the wealthy and the royals and those of the aristocracies that had the voice. Had the voice, and it was the peasants, the poor people, that didn't. And I believe strongly that freedom of speech is one of the things that gave the poor people of our society equal opportunity to have a voice that can challenge that of the elites. And coincidentally, in today's world, we see people, especially from the middle to upper middle class, and even upper classes, especially like the big tech companies and some of these radical far left groups who wants to get rid of freedom of speech. And that, to me, doesn't benefit the poor. That, if anything, that benefits the rich, the wealthy. It doesn't benefit the poor, because the poor people will lose that voice, because then they won't because they're not in a position of power. And censorship, it only benefits those in power, and that, to me, is not a good thing. Which is why I absolutely believe in freedom of speech. So I generally think, like, these socialists and communists who always talk about wanting to be, being the people for the poor. How can they be for the poor if they want a sense of freedom of speech? If anything, that's taking the poor's voice away and putting it in the hands of those in power. But then again, I guess that is the motto of communism anyways. Only those in power are the ones who speak on behalf of everyone else. Whereas freedom of speech gives all individuals equal voice, so they all can voice their opinions regardless of where you come from or who you are. It's just a very ridiculous world we live in. Anyway, I think I've gone completely off topic of what we were talking about. So let's finish this game off. So first, I'm just going to respond to this, let him say so, and then I'm going to end it there. I mean, sorry, this turned into more like a kind of political ramble. I try to keep those things out of my videos, but it's things like. It's just so much things in this world that makes me think. You are very welcome. I'll speak to everybody.
Do you think in a few years we'll use this way to our conversation?
Use this way to our conversation. Well, we already do now.
Do you mean to say that you are Margaret, and that you are my girlfriend?
Absolutely not. I told you I've already got a girlfriend.
You can't explain just like me, so your entertainment value lives on, my friend.
Oh my goodness gracious, of all things sacred. Okay. It has been very nice talking to you, but I have to go now.
Okay, in that case I won't take your time much longer.
Thank you, I'll talk to you soon.
Well, it's black and white and red all over.
Ah! Okay, people. Okay, I believe I'm done for now. Wow, this video has really went so political and moralistic. That's something that I tend to try and keep out of my videos is politics. I mean, I know I got interest in politics, but I'm not here to really. But I didn't make this channel to preach about my politics. I made this channel because I want to play games, you know. But there are certain things that you play that makes me think. Think about it, certain things based upon what they are. So especially these kind of like websites, things in which just talks, which is more about having conversations. That's what it is. This is all conversation. So if anything, when it comes to things like Eviebot or Chimp or Boybot or whatever bot, just a bot in general, who generally have a conversation about, well, world affairs, I guess, then of course there's going to be some things that will be social and political and things like that. The one thing I never asked him was, does he believe in God? Well, he's a monkey. Do monkeys believe in a God? Are they pagans? Who knows, to be honest, I really wouldn't know. But then again, it's completely beyond the bounds of any religious understanding because, you know, it's a monkey that talks. But, so, you know, how unchristian is that? But never mind that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked my political rambling, then I'll be more than happy to continue political rambling in another video if you want, but that's down to you to decide. Not me. That's down to you to decide on that part, because like I said, I generally want to try and keep my religious, political and social views out of my videos. I mean, I know I'll not talk about them from time to time, but I do not try to speak it in a form of in a way that I want to try and convince people that what I believe in is right, or the right thing, or anything like that, because I may be wrong. I may be completely wrong in my assessment. But these are just things that I believe in. If you believe them as well, then great. That's good on your part. If you don't, then again, that's absolutely fine as well. I've got no problems with that. Like I said, I believe in. I talk to anybody. I don't care who you are, as long as you're nice and decent and respectful, then you get my respect too. But, well, as I was saying, if you enjoy this video, you can like it, you can subscribe, you can also help this channel grow by going on to my Patreon, which is in the link or in the description below the video. And tomorrow I will be playing Unreal, the first Unreal game, because that's the only one that's pretty much got a actual story. Of course, it's a linear game. Doesn't necessarily have. It's not kind of story concept you would generally think of nowadays. You know, it's not like the kind of story driving games like Mass Effect or saying like The Walking Dead. But this is something that's more from a player perspective. Let's just say it's more along the lines of having like Subnautica. You're just literally put in this random world, and then you got to try and figure it out on your own. And try and complete the game like that. So yes, thank you for watching. I've been the Christian Conservative Gamer, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.